The Olympics starts next weekend, inspiring many of us to get in shape. With us this morning is our 2 News fitness expert, Wes Cole, to tell us what watching the Olympics can teach us.
Well, you know, it's pretty entertaining, but especially when we look at certain athletes, certain sports can give us some tips on what we can do kind of for our own little personal training.
Absolutely. You said the athletic body.
Well, the athletic body, I think one of the most athletic things first is the sprinter. And we look at 100, 200-meter sprinters, and they often have very different bodies than long-distance runners. And I get so many people coming in saying, gosh, I really, what do they do that's so special? One thing that sprinters really show is the power of interval training. And interval training is a very popular concept right now. We've talked a lot about it. One thing interval training does that traditional aerobics doesn't do is it builds muscle.
Okay.
When we think of interval training, we think of sprint, something that you go so hard for 15 or 20 seconds and you need to back off a little bit. Including some interval training once or twice a week is very beneficial. One of the most powerful things about interval training is, unlike traditional aerobics, it decreases appetite. So if especially if you're on a diet, you need to consider doing some type of boot camp or something that really gets our heart rate skyrocketing and plumbs it down. Something to consider.
That's good to know. Female gymnast.
Well, what's so great about female gymnasts is it should be very empowering for female athletes, because it really shows just how strong women can get. Women, when they come to the gym, oftentimes they really underestimate how strong they can get. Men, on the other hand, they overestimate, so I have to kind of tone it down a little bit. But oftentimes, I always say that one of the biggest mistakes women make in the gym is they don't lift heavy enough. So one thing that gymnasts do show is just how capable women are as far as developing great strength. Here's just a very basic gymnast routine. It's actually a warm-up. Come right here, going to do a tower push-up. It's actually a warm-up for elite gymnasts, but this is, trust me, this will be tough for most people. Just a tower push-up. She's coming up, and you see how her arm is shaking a little bit. Working all those stabilizers. This is a great intro to just basic gymnastics, and I guarantee it'll work. Like I said, it's a warm-up for most gymnasts, but for most normal people, I guarantee it's a great workout.
Yeah,
Thank you, Beth.
Those little bitty girls are so strong, fascinating.
It's amazing.
Speed walking.
Speed walking, you know, I tell people, though, make sure you watch the speed walking, and people are like, is that even televised? I mean, it's so boring. One thing speed walking does show is just how lean some of these walkers are. I mean, now, you're not going to build a whole lot of muscle, you're not going to build bone density walking, but there's a rumor that you have to work out super intense to lose weight. It's just not true. Studies show that walking can be so beneficial. And let me tell you something, if you're real heavy, if you're just getting started, the last thing you want to do is get out there and do interval running, because you're not at that level yet. Don't think that walking, because we've been all talking about interval training and boot camp training, that walking isn't effective, especially for a beginner. It's definitely something to think about. And if you don't believe me, look at some of these elite runners or walkers. They're very, very lean. Something to think about.
It's on my network. I didn't even know it was an event. Speed walking. Amazing. Weightlifting.
Weightlifting. Last one, when we think of Olympic weightlifting, we think of the big, heavy guys lifting a tremendous amount of weights over their head. They don't always particularly look real athletic. That's usually only in the heavyweight division. But when you look at some of the lighter weights, they're very athletic, and often they're very flexible. There's this myth that weight training makes you stiff and immobile. But in terms of overall flexibility, Olympic weightlifters are second only to gymnasts in overall flexibility, and that's an actual statistic. This is right here is a very simple Olympic lift. It's a single arm snatch, but it's going to come all the way down into a squat. This is what I do for a lot of my athletes that really want to build strength and flexibility. And this just gives you an example of just how much flexibility is involved in some of this Olympic lift. Thank you, Beth.
Wow.
Try that.
It's difficult.
It's a little advanced. You might want to wait a little bit, but it's a great one.
Okay, thank you so much. And if you have a question that you'd like Wes to answer, you can go to the weekend morning section of our website. Go to kjrh.com. Also, if you're interested in Wes Cole's Healthy Habits, it's what you can get at Steve Sundry.
You can get it anywhere books are sold.
Okay, sounds good. You can also give Wes a call, 749-0960, or visit his gym on 46 just east of Sheridan.